There is one really interesting phenomenon I've noticed in some gifted people, which is particularly with gifted people who aren't aware that they're gifted, or they have been told that they're gifted, but they haven't, I guess, internalized what it means to be gifted. And that is that these sorts of people are constantly experiencing the double empathy problem of the gifted type, which means that the way that they're understanding things and what they assume that everybody does in terms of the complexity and depth of their thinking is not being mirrored, right? And they are so confused and perplexed all the time. And when you think about it, if we're just taking intellectual giftedness for an example, which isn't the only form of giftedness and not all IQs are accessible, but just for argument's sake, I guess we could also use EQ as an example of emotional giftedness, but I don't think there's an equivalent EQ measure. Anyway, someone has an IQ that is in the gifted range, which is above 99% of the population. So the conceptual understanding that they have is more than 99% of people. And they're walking around wondering why people don't understand them. And so you sort of try to explain, well, because you're gifted. And they're like, oh, well, I don't feel better than anyone else. Because usually somebody who's gifted is modest because they're aware of their own limitations, because they have awareness of the conceptual space of limitation, but they don't internalize the fact that this creates a social difference. It's very bizarre. It's difficult when the data isn't there to sort of support and show the person, but it's quite obvious what's going on.